Gets open for three. Dagger!
Hello, and welcome back to Well Beyond the Arc. We're back, and it's no longer regular season basketball. We are finally getting into a little postseason action, and we couldn't be any more excited to talk about it with you guys. As always, joined by my co-host David. How you doing this week, bro?
I'm really good. I'm really good. I'm ready to go. It's playoff, baby.
Man, it's
This is where the men are separated from the boys.
that's very true, and they're separated extremely quickly. Usually, we don't see the boys make it very far in the playoffs, so we'll see what's up. But before we get into the playoffs, because we got play-in, playoffs, a lot of action to talk about, we got to start our show how we always do with a little good, bad, and ugly. This week, I know the season was wrapping up, but there was still plenty of good, bad, and ugly to go over. Matter of fact, there is always, even in the postseason, there's always something we can go over on this show with
There
this segment.
is.
So, what is your good? What did you narrow it down to this week?
My good has to be the Lakers finishing above the Kings in the eighth seed. There was a in the middle of the season there was a possibility that the Lakers could have played the Kings. And also played the Warriors, but I'll take the Pelicans over them. Finishing the eighth seed, it has been a turmoil of a season, so finishing the eighth seed is actually not that bad. I think I probably said sixth seed, but couple
Anywhere
of
between
losses
that
here
six
and
and
there.
eight is a good spot. The fact that we went up and not down is what matters.
Yeah,
That's what and that race literally went into the last few games. So it wasn't like it was a huge separation and we like stepped off the gas. If anything, we stepped on it more. So I'm with you, bro. That was I mean, what a way to finish the season. We were not even above 40 wins like a couple weeks ago. A couple weeks ago on
yeah.
this show, we were still like sitting right there. So I get where you're coming from with that, and I think the Lakers look the best they've looked all season now. No matter what you think about how their postseason is going to go, I don't think you can deny this is the best the Lakers have looked top to bottom currently.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's a good take. Mine has to be the Knicks finishing their season out strong and securing second in the East, their first 50-win season since Carmelo Anthony. Here's the deal. How
Knicks
far
for
the Knicks
conference
going to go in the
finals.
postseason, I don't have them going to the Eastern Conference Finals, but I definitely can see them making it to the second round potentially, and I definitely can see them making some noise, and I can see them making the most noise they've made in the postseason this year. I think the only concern is there's some injury concern. There's a couple of things with some matchups that they might go up against where I don't want to throw them into the Eastern Conference Finals, but I definitely have them making it to the second round. I think that it's very, very, very possible they might be able to make it to the second round. Possibly.
Nah,
It's possible. The only thing is going to be who they play in that series, in that round one series. But I definitely don't have them going all the way.
I don't care who they play. They're going to the conference finals
You
because they
think they're
can
going
win.
all the way?
They can. They'll beat either Miami or Philly. Any one of them. Give them any one of
Man.
them. They'll beat
Okay.
anyone. They did sweep Miami. They beat Miami in the season series. They beat Philly
True.
in the season series. Even without what's his name, um, Julius Randle, they
Mhm.
can still go all the way. And then you either give them Bucks or Pacers. Pacers do not play defense. All they have to do is just play defense and score more than Pacers, and they have won. The Bucks, that's a different story because you don't know what Bucks you get, right? But I still feel like they can get all those teams with ease. So give Knicks go to the conference final. Those Villanova
Hey,
boys
you've
deserve
heard it
it.
here
Those
first.
the Villanova boys deserve it.
You've
You
heard it
know.
here first. Knicks very well could. I just saw Smoke say the Clippers aren't going to win, and I this is maybe the first thing we've ever agreed on. So, and then we've got Lob City taking the chip. I don't think so. For one, Smoke, I think we're on the same side here. Moving on to our bad, David. What fills your bad category for this week's show?
Yeah, no, shout out to the Knicks, playing good basketball, just keep it out there. I don't know how I forgot about that one, but shout out to the Knicks. My bad has to be freaking Timberwolves. Freaking context, final game of the season, the regular season, they all could have finished first. OKC, Timberwolves, and Denver. And freaking Timberwolves were the ones that had to play the Suns, and then they got blown out by the Suns. And I'm like, oh my god. And because of that, and then also Denver, freaking Denver. Denver freaking losing to San Antonio was just nasty. They, anyways, the only reason why this is so ugly, sorry, the only reason why this is bad is because the Lakers have to play the Nuggets in the first round. And I'm not too optimistic there. I'm not saying they'll 100% win, but I'm not too optimistic there. That is my only problem with my ranting right now. Is that
I'm, bro, when I literally I was on a beach and I got the notification and I was so pissed off, so mad when I got that notification because here's the deal. I want one thing, and we're gonna talk potential whatever, but one thing I'll say talking Lakers Nuggets, if that's how it shakes out, potentially there is a universe where catching them earlier than later might actually be better. We might, with how hot we are, where we're at now, catching them round one, it could be a series. I'm not going to say we're going to win. We're not going to get swept. I truly don't believe we're going to get swept this season. Whether we win or lose,
that's
I think
true.
it's going to be a series. So that's
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 true.
where I'm at with it. But also, I'm like, bro, when I saw that score of that Suns Timberwolves game, I was like, come on, really?
It's,
Like that was not just a win, but that was a extremely ugly blowout, and also not a super good look for the Timberwolves right before postseason. Like no matter how you want to shake that out, that's not a good look to lose like that to a team, that you're playing round one. So
yeah.
this is the same team you got to match up, and you just drop that game like that. So yeah, that's a solid bad. My bad though has to be Giannis out for the Bucks, especially during the start of a tough playoff run. If you've been around for this season, you know that we've talked a lot of Bucks and Giannis throughout this. Not really specifically Giannis, more just Bucks. But here's what I will say: this Bucks team finished the season. Their last 10 games, they were 3-7. All right. They're on a
19.
2-game losing streak, I believe, going into the playoffs. And now Giannis is out. I got muted. There are only so many things that you can. I know I'm just stacking them up. Sorry, Jay. There's only so many things that can be against you before it comes crashing down. And you're going against the Pacers, one of the most explosive, dangerous teams that if you give them any lead, any length, that's it. That's it.
I don't know. I don't even know if I should ask this question now, or if I should ask it when we talk about the matchup. But like,
Mhm.
do you feel like Dame is comfortable in Milwaukee? Like, do you think if he gets traded somewhere else, probably somewhere out west, for instance,
I know. Of all
he'll
places, he should
probably
have
be
gone.
better. You know what I mean? Like, do you think that Dame, obviously Dame this season, we all said okay to take time to gel, but like it's way past time of gelling. Like,
I
is
don't
it?
think this team is a good fit, but I don't know if that means they wouldn't build a team that would be a good fit around that. If the Bucks get out in round one, I'm pretty sure they're going to try not to obviously overhaul um Giannis and Dame, but everybody. I mean, they're going to look into what they can do if they lose in round one, which I think is going to happen. Maybe they can pull it off, but I think if Giannis is out for at least the first 3 games, 2-3 games, the Pacers are going to take advantage of that every single game. So I guess the Bucks' best chance is Giannis is only out 1 game. But if Giannis comes back after 1 game, who's to say he's going to be 100%? He's probably not going to be. So it's going to be a struggle. If the Bucks can hold on to like a game 6 or 7, and Giannis can come in and have a legendary performance, then I'll bite my tongue and I won't say anything, and that'll be the last thing I say about the Bucks. But I truly don't think that's going to be the scenario here. But time will tell. But yeah, the Dame situation needs to be monitored because at least this season it has not seemed like a good fit. But it's sometimes like with Kyrie, which he had less of a season than Dame has had, but you can't always tell right away. You need to sometimes let that fit settle in. And then let's not forget, okay, one of the biggest mistakes y'all made this year was hiring Doc Rivers. I don't, and here's the thing, I get the defensive mind of this and the that, but when he is
17-19 in his
and he's
since he got
going in front of
hired.
the press saying we're not professional enough, it's my guy's fault. He's not as a coach. You've got to look inward. You got to look at what you're doing with this team, how you're continuing, what the other coach did. Like, I just don't think he's the guy for the job this year. Maybe they probably would keep him around and try to see what they can do next year. That's fine. I just don't see it this year. So the Dame situation is going to be the whole Bucks team as a whole. We're going to have to keep monitoring because who knows what it's going to look like next season.
Yeah.
So That's all I have to say. That moving on to our ugly. What
A
do you
little
got, bro?
tangent in there, yeah.
I know, just a little bit. Had to throw a little in
Uh,
there. You know?
yeah, my ugly was going to be Giannis because like this is my ugly is actually the Giannis injury just because this is the second straight year that he's going into round one injured. Last year we saw it with Miami and he played the first game, got injured in the first game. This year he's pretty much not going to play the first game, and they could end up getting bounced by Indiana. Like that actually I think I don't know I haven't looked at the sports books and like the odds and all that stuff, but there's a real possibility that Indiana will bounce them out like really bad. So like it just feels like the past two seasons it's not just worked out, especially with Giannis like and his injury, like always getting injured during the first like that first round or like before the first round, which is quite sad for him. So I think for Milwaukee it'll be a little bit sad because they don't necessarily have the when you look at their team now, I can only think of three names now that can probably stand up, and that's Dame, Brook Lopez, and Boy Portis without Giannis himself. Look at the the teams they had previously. You had Grayson Allen, you had Cunningham, they had guys on the team. But I look at the team now and I can't see Malik Beasley coming up and dropping 45 to win game against the Pacers or like this guy that came from the Suns. Can't remember his name. Jim Crawford coming up to drop. Like I can't see that. Like that's just I can't see the bench doing nothing. So it's quite sad, and I see that as really ugly, and it could be. And I'm not going to look too deep into Doc, just because he came in halfway through the season, and that's quite a tough what's the word, tough shift for him. So I want to be able to give him a full season, give him a full training camp. Maybe get some players that he feels will help the team.
Exactly.
You
That's the
know,
thing.
so I'm not going to look into Doc, but yeah, it's just really ugly how Giannis might potentially miss the first 3-4 games of the series if the series doesn't end in 4 games. So yeah, that's kind of my ugly, and that's what I'm at.
I think that's a good pick, and I do like what you're saying about giving Doc more time and maybe like again restructuring the team to a team that because I this can't be the team top to bottom that he wants to have because he came in during the season with a team that was already constructed and they didn't make a bunch of moves. They weren't able to make a bunch of moves. So I do think we need to give him more time. I do get that. And then maybe the same is with Dame as well. I think it kind of goes both ways. Maybe they can figure it out and sort something out next season, but it's not going to be this year, I don't believe. Moving on to my ugly, I've got the Mavs, Timberwolves, and Clippers all losing their last regular season game. And all losing by a pretty big margin. I think the Clippers lost by the least amount of points between those three teams. But I mean, all three of those teams losing big. And when we're talking about the Timberwolves, they lost to their round one opponent in a fashion that makes you think they're going to get swept, even if that's not what's going to happen. That like,
I mean, you won't look too deep into it. Okay, for the Timberwolves, yes, but like the Clippers and the Mavs, you won't look
no,
like
not
the
for them.
matchup
No,
was
not
set.
for them because no, because they weren't playing. The difference here is the Mavs or the Timberwolves playing their round one opponent and losing like that. The Mavs and the Clippers, I think, lost to the Jazz or no, the Rockets.
Yeah,
Clippers lost to the
the Rockets,
Rockets and the Mavs
Boban,
lost to
Boban,
yeah,
Boban and
yeah,
Chicken. Yeah, that
yeah.
was good.
That was pretty good. But no, so yeah, that's got to be my bad because all three of those teams have pretty big matchups coming up. But the worst of the worst is definitely the Timberwolves. Out of those three teams,
Yeah.
it's got to be the Timberwolves. That's the worst, just because they played their round one opponent and they lost. And no matter, I don't think it's going to be a series where they play like that every game. It's going to be a better series than what they showed. But still, you don't want to go into a series against a team and have that look and have that momentum. So that's my ugly. But moving right along, we're going to get into a little NBA play-in action because it is upon us. And as we record this episode, there are two play-in games taking place today. Both are of the Western Conference play-in games. We've got the Lakers versus the Pelicans first, and then the Kings versus the Warriors. We're going to get started. Lakers versus Pelicans. David, what do you think goes on in this game? How do you think this game shakes out when we talk Lakers versus Pelicans today?
Yeah, people, you know what? People have been saying that Lakers should lose this game so that they do not play to the Nuggets, right? That's what people, obviously, that's what people have been saying, and obviously, it was like commentaries on ESPN and stuff like that. Um, But then you look at it from this point of view is that they better win so that they know at least they have a playoff spot guaranteed. They win and they have a playoff spot guaranteed. But then if they decide to lose, which I don't believe that will happen, like they won't just be like, okay, you know what, guys, we're going to lose. Let's just tank this game, right? Yeah, I have the Lakers winning. I have nothing more than that. I have the Lakers actually toying with the Pelicans. Like Pelicans are nothing to the Lakers right now.
Not even.
Um,
We just played them
I'm like
yet, and we dog walked them.
at home, like
And had we
uh,
lost that, it wasn't like that game didn't mean anything. Like that game is the
it
reason that we're
meant
where we're at. That game did mean something. So
and it also meant something to the Pelicans too. They needed to win. It's not like they came
yeah,
out and were
no,
like, okay,
this
you know
game
what?
mattered to everybody, and we won by
Exactly.
over like 15 points, I believe, something like that. I mean, we were up, we were up. But what I will say is this: I think we win by 10 plus points against the Pelicans. I'm not going to
Yeah.
put an exact score on it, but I think we win by 10 plus, just like we did in our last regular season game. I think we handle business. Here's the flip side of we don't want to play the Nuggets. Yeah, we don't want to play the. I already kind of said it earlier. Like I would maybe rather catch them in round one
Ex-
and catch them
that
right away than
right,
catch them in
yeah.
the Western Conference Finals. I would
Yeah.
rather catch them in round one, and I do really, really believe that it'll be a series. I'm not going to put a number of games on it, but it's saying it's going to be a series implies it's at least going to be 6 or 7 games. I do
Yeah.
truly believe it's got that potential. And if we win this game, we're on a 3-game winning streak going into that series. And I have probably said the word momentum too many times on this show, but it's true. I mean, that gives you that little bit of momentum. And like the Nuggets, obviously, one of the
Is
best teams all season have stayed consistent, but I feel like there's a little more momentum in our favor at this very moment. So if we
yeah.
beat the Pelicans, that only continues. So I'd have us beating the Pels by 10 plus and controlling the game because if you watched the game or just looked at the stat line, that Pelicans team, I mean, they had all their boys out there and they were not able to get anything done. They were not able to, I mean, the Lakers played pretty solid defense, I mean, we looked like a team that's ready for the playoffs. So give me the Lakers by 10 plus. Moving on to the Warriors versus the Kings. This is maybe a little bit more exciting, a little bit closer of a game, in my opinion. What is your thought, bro? Zion ate his teammates. Bro, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Uh and just if we go back to like the whole Nuggets thing, right? Jamal is out of the lineup. He's in and out of the lineup, right? When we played them in the conference finals, they were on this high momentum push. Like they are just beating the Timberwolves, then beating the Clippers or beating the Clippers, beating whatever it was, right? So the momentum was there on their side. But now, yeah, I agree with you. I'd rather take them now, so I'm not even going to think too much into it. But when it comes to the Warriors Kings, that's an interesting one. Do I see Warriors playing one home game, winning one home game, and then going on the road again to win a second road game? Okay, Warriors can beat the Kings. 100% Warriors can beat the Kings. But I feel like the Kings will come out and play today.
I think the Warriors can beat the Kings in a series. I think that is what we
Yes,
kind of
exactly.
last season. Like they've got the vets, they know what it takes to go through a series, but this is one game. This isn't
This
a
is
series.
one
So,
and done. One
yeah,
and done. Yeah, I see the Kings winning this.
me
I see
too.
the
I think
Kings
it'll be
winning
close.
this.
I think it'll be closer than the Lakers
It will be
Pels. I
close.
think it'll
Yeah.
be like between like 4 to 8 point difference probably when we really break it down. I see the 108 to 96 smoke, but I think that's just you as a fan picking that because I don't think Steph could have over 40 maybe.
He could, but they will still
Good.
the other
They could
guys will
still
not.
lose though. That's the thing. They could still.
Yeah.
I will say Malik Monk is out for the Kings, but they're much more
Uh,
than Malik Monk. Like they can
yeah.
totally like he's a big part of their team, but honestly, they're capable of beating the Warriors without him. So I'm
But
with you on that for sure.
yeah,
I
but like if they end up winning, if the Warriors end up winning, would they make the playoffs? That's another question now, because they
true,
would then have to go on the road again,
true.
to
But
play
it's
the.
Thunder.
No, not even turn out. They have to go on the road again to play the loser of the 7 and 8.
Oh yeah, no, but once they true, no, once they would make it
So,
to the playoffs, the Thunder would be who they would play.
oh
So
yeah,
that
it will be cheesecake for them. Like they will smoke the Thunder. I'm not even messing around. If
no,
they do
anyone
make it
that
to the
plays the
playoff,
Thunder, I think is going to beat them in round one. Honestly, I kind of have a feeling
no, the
that
King. Okay, yeah, the Kings will
well,
obviously beat them.
Pels versus Canes, if that is what the battle for the 8th seed is, who do you have winning Pels versus Canes?
I watched the Kings Pels game like just before the season ended. I watched that game and Zion had his way with like the Pels. Sorry, with the Kings. Um no disrespect to OKC, but like let's be frank, like they have no playoff experience whatsoever. This is their first playoff. So like I'm just taking the experience over, and that's the experience is what matters in playoff necessarily. You can have all the youngsters in the world, but like experience, that's when the game slows down and the men come out to play, you know. Um but back to the Kings and Pelicans. I'll probably say Pelicans just because I've seen Zion have his way with them. Like I literally when the game mattered to them, Zion had his way with the Kings. And that's and I was so grateful because like the Kings needed to lose that game. So um yeah, I'll take the Pelicans, and then they'll probably also go smoke OKC just because they also have playoff experience too. So yeah,
No, I like that pick. I'm also with you on Pels because, like you said, if you watched, which a lot of people don't kind of realize, but there's a lot of indicators. Now, things can change come playoff time, but there's a lot of indicators in the regular season series how a team matches up against another team. And the Pels, I mean, they body, especially when Zion is in, they body that Kings team. Also, let's talk about Ingram being in the lineup. Who is going to stop Ingram and Zion? I don't see anyone from that Kings team being able to stop both of them. Now, do they have players that could obviously match up? But it's going to be they're going to have a tough night. That's going to be a mismatch. So I've got the Pels taking that 8th seed, and I honestly have them beating OKC in round one. I think it'll be like a 6 or 7 game series, but I do think the Pelicans will be able to get it done against the Kings, or against the Kings, and then against the OKC as well, possibly. But it
yeah.
is, and that is true. I mean, defense that's a big factor.
Defense does win championships, you
It's
know.
huge, especially in a series, because we're not talking about just one. I mean, once you get to a series, you've got to have the defense intact, or you're not going to make it very far. So that's a good point, and I mean, time will tell, but obviously, if those Western Conference matchups will be excited, and we'll check back in next time we talk to you guys about the Western Conference. It's going to be playoff time. So moving on to the East, which the those games are
Do
taking
we
place
do we really
tomorrow
do we
as
really
we
have to do
record.
the East?
I think
This
we
is so
should
boring. So
because Heat
boring.
versus 76ers, close game, but I got the 76ers. I
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you know what? Yeah, because you have the 76ers meeting the Knicks and that's it, bro. Who's going to stop Joel? Who's going to stop Embiid? That's my
You
question to
know
you.
what? That's a whole other conversation we'll probably have next week once the play when once the matchup start. But
Do
like in
you have
terms of
the
the Heat,
76ers as well then?
yeah, in terms of the Heat Sixers, I do have. I don't believe Jimmy Butler is coming out. Playoff Jimmy is coming out this playoffs. Like I don't. I mean, don't get me wrong. Spo can pull out anything from his heart. Bro has experience. Takes a team from the 8th seed to the conference final, sorry to the NBA finals. That's crazy. So Eric Spoelstra can put anything. But in terms of playoff Jimmy, I don't see that happening. And then these are two amazing coaches. This isn't Doc Rivers no more. This is Nick Nurse that is crazy. You know, he has championship experience. He has won a chip. Not to say Doc hasn't, but he's he knows when to make the corrections and better than Doc. So I will take the Sixers over the Miami. But if it happens, if Miami does win, right, it won't surprise me. That's
Same.
just
I
what
would
it
be
is. It won't
shocked. I
surprise me.
Bulls versus Hawks. I mean, I don't even want to. I'm not even going to
I
watch this
don't
game.
care. I don't even
Hawks.
care. I don't
I
care.
got Hawks. I got
I
Hawks.
actually do have Hawks winning too, but like I
But
don't
that
care.
being said, Heat versus Hawks, it's going to be the Heat. It's Heat are going to
Yeah,
Heat.
yeah.
Whoever wins that Bulls Hawks game might as well just call it a season right away. I'm sorry. I don't think because whoever's losing that Heat 76ers series is going to, in my personal opinion, win by 10 plus points against that other team.
Yeah.
I don't know. But what I will say is it would be a little bit. That's true, Manoli. Man, that's right. I got to go for the Bulls for Manoli. Well, I don't know Manoli. Not this year, bro. And actually, not any year. Every time we were on the show together, it wasn't the Bulls year. I think that's still the case. But who knows? Maybe they'll make a run. Maybe the Bulls will
No,
just show up and show out. Alex Caruso, the
no.
Caruso show. Let's go.
Let's
Let's
let's be
go.
frank. Let's be frank. The Sixers and Miami are making the playoffs. Like
Yeah,
one
those
way
are
or the other, they are
basically
both
this.
making the
Basically,
playoffs.
that game is the 7th and 8th seed. So
Exactly. So I don't know why they are playing. Like But it's good. It's good for the league.
Ball
At
is
least let
not
them
back.
have.
Ball is
You
not.
know,
Ball is still not back. I don't know when Ball. I
Lonzo
think
Lonzo
Ball.
till next season. He should just
Yeah,
enjoy his vacation. Enjoy the vacation. With his wife
that would be
and
such a. They would be so. They have no. The only like stretch of imagination if he was somehow ready would be if they had it like they were like the fourth or third or like if they were a team that had a chance and he actually was ready to come back like middle of the playoffs or whatever. But that's not yet. No, he's not back, and he next season, and who knows? That's another question. There's a big question mark around Lonzo because he was actually pretty successful before he got out. So wait,
yeah. I saw this.
are
He
you
he
serious? I
blamed
didn't see that.
his dad went on a tangent. I was like,
Oh
the
my
training
god.
now is different, and that's why his sons are getting injured. And then he blamed Lamelo's shoes and all that stuff. It was just going on at Puma, and
Sounds
I'm
like
like,
he's back. He was quiet for a long time. Sounds like he's
I was
back.
like, okay, it is what it is.
Man,
Um,
I thought him saying he could beat MJ was bad, but he just keeps going.
nah, he's. I don't know too much about him, but like he seems like a really passionate father. I can't
Oh
take that
no,
from
that's
him.
LeVar is. That's one thing about him is dude has shown up for all of his boys always. And that yeah, no, that is something I will say. That's something I've always kind of given him credit for is he does seem to be all about his kids, but
Yeah,
sometimes it's also a little bit about him too. But um yeah, no, that is true. A world-class troll and yeah, for real. Because everything he said, like he's better than MJ, that all I got people talking. So yeah, you're not wrong. A lot of it probably is just to get people talking, and it's done a good
clickbait.
job of that. So yeah, exactly. That's all. That's how it's done. That rules the internet. So, well, that kind of clears up those playing games. Moving on to round one, we're not going to go into the potential matchups, just the ones that are set. Starting with Suns Timberwolves, I'm just going to go right in and say the Suns showed us how they're going to handle business against them in that series. I think that they're too much offensively with Beal, KD, Booker, and yes, even Grayson Allen is being a really consistent, solid offensive piece for them. So I think that the Suns take this in 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, and you know what? But if the Timberwolves end up winning, right, it will be more of a shocker for the Suns because they did show how good they are. Like if the Suns don't win, that is the shocking part. If they don't win, right, and that would raise a lot of questions, for the Suns if they do not beat Timberwolves, considering how they dealt with them in the season. It will be a lot of question asked. But yeah, I do see KD and Booker handling their business both home and away. Um, I mean, yeah, as you said, I'll give it 5 games. Like they should not take it more than 5 games. If it goes to game seven, I'll be pissed. If that
If
series
it
goes
goes,
to game
yeah,
seven, I'll
no,
be pissed.
I would be too. I would be as well, and I don't see a universe where it does. I think maybe it would go to a game 6, but I think 5 is what we're going to see the limit of that series being because I think the Suns are just too much for that team to handle, and the Timberwolves. We have done segments, maybe even this season, about teams that are fraudulent and teams that are legit. I think if we're talking about a team that is postseason fraudulent, I think it's the Timberwolves. I don't want to say
Yeah,
fraudulent, but I want to say I don't think they're one of the contenders. I think they're a pretender. So,
yeah,
um,
they are a good team. Like let's not get
yeah,
wrong, they're a
yeah,
good team. But it's just again, you have a team that haven't gone nowhere.
yeah.
In the experience. Ant is good, but Ant doesn't have that experience. Kat doesn't have that experience. Gobert doesn't have that experience. Gobert can play defense, but like in the playoffs, defense in the regular season is different from the defense in postseason. But then you have KD, two-time champion, two-time MVP, Finals MVP. Devin Booker has been there. He has gone to the conference finals. Bradley Beal, yeah, he might not be. He hasn't been there in probably a decade, but like he still has in the know-how of how to do it. And KD and Devin Booker both averaging 27 points a game. That's big. That's big. And then you have Grayson Allen leading the league in 3 points percentage, knowing that he can unlock from anywhere on the court. So that plays a big part. So yeah, again, the shocker will be if Suns don't handle business. That will be the shocker. They need to stand on business with there and there and make a statement. You know what I mean? So
Fair.
yeah,
No, I'm with you. And Smoke, I will say this. I saw the KD comment. He has not won any chips, but dude has definitely won playoff series without the Warriors. He's very capable of showing up for a playoff series and winning. I mean, he has been in several Western Conference finals, or at least made it to that second round and made a push. So
I
you
mean,
cannot count KD out when it comes to showing up in the playoffs. He will show up if he's healthy, but I will admit he's definitely not going to get a championship out of this, even just this team going forward. I don't see KD winning another chip anywhere. So
yeah. And I mean, he did almost, he did almost knock, he
with
did
the
almost
Nets,
the Bucks, you the Nets. So, and this team is way better than Nets, well, at that time,
mhm. Lots of
this
people
team
think the
is
Nets would have won it all had that not happened.
exactly
So
if he still wasn't on the line, or if Kyrie didn't go down injured, they could have gone all the way, beating who they even play Atlanta. That that was the year they could have easily washed Atlanta that year, But if bots and maybes were alcohol, I'm probably sure we'll be all drunk by now. But yeah, yeah,
no, yeah. I think it's going to be a series that's going to be short lived. At least I'm hoping for it. But you never know. Maybe the Timberwolves come out on top. Moving over to Clippers Mavs, this is going to be a way better series. This is going to be this team has some history too. They have a little history. And I think this is going to be one of the best round one matchups we see. I will say this though. I think the Mavs come out on top for the sole purpose that the Clippers, I see them either crashing and burning injury wise. I see them losing Harden, one of their key players, which is Harden really one of their key players. I don't know if I'd call him their most key player, but he's one of their guys that shows up and shows out. Between Paul George, James Harden, and Kawhi Leonard, I think, and I guess I'll throw I guess I'll throw Westbrook in there too, but I don't consider him one of those guys. I think that one of them is going to go down for whatever reason happens, and that is going to be where they crash and burn because they've been a little more consistent this season, but the Clippers have shown us that they are extremely inconsistent with their injury lineup, who's in, who's out. And I think this is going to show up now, and we're going to see that now. So I've got the Mavs winning in 6 to 7 games. Even if everyone is healthy for the Clippers, I still think the Mavs win in 6 to 7 games. I still think that they show up, and that duo of Kyrie and Luka is dangerous. That
seems
duo is possibly at this point in the season that was a good man. That was good. I'm reading the chat right now. I'm trying to stay focused, but the chat's pretty solid today. I'm glad we're getting that playoff talk going in the chat. Let's go. Gotta go with that. But no,
question.
Luka and Kyrie are definitely one of the best duos in the league currently. Were they at the beginning of the season? Would I have called them that? No. But now, one of the most dynamic duos, and also the Clippers. I don't see it. I think the Mavs get it in 6 to 7 games.
Question though,
Yeah.
between the trio in the Clippers, Paul George, Kawhi. Okay, let me remove Kawhi because Kawhi has won. But between Paul George and Harden and KD and actually no, let's even put Kawhi in there. Kawhi, Paul George, and Harden, or Luca, or KD and Booker. Who is more under pressure? Or who do you say is more under pressure to go the farthest? I won't say win the chip because I don't think
That's
any
a
of
good.
them will win the chip. But like,
I
who is
mean,
more?
I honestly think I almost think that's a dude. That's because all of those teams have pressure built up for whatever reason. I think the team that's under the most pressure is probably the Clippers for the sole purpose that you're looking at. I think it's the Clippers and Kawhi Leonard, and I think it's that. I think it has to be I think it has to be them. I think it has to be right up behind him. I'd go with maybe I don't know, maybe Kevin Durant, but I definitely have to go with definitely Kawhi, and the Clippers have to be that team. Kawhi has the most, and dude has shown that he's able to help win chips in this. I mean, it's not just one, like he's a multi-championship NBA player that yeah, I think I'd say Kawhi.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, yeah, I give the Mavs I give Mavs at least 6 games. They should take it to 6 games. They shouldn't go to 7. They will probably smoke them in 6 games. Um, the thing with the Clippers, right, is that is the injuries. Like, if not for the injuries, what we'll be talking about how many chips they should have been able to get, right? If not for the injuries. And bearing any injuries this season, if the playoffs come and against Mavs, right? If the injuries do not come and they are all fully fit and healthy, Kawhi is healthy, they are all playing ball, it will be really sad to see them go out the first round against the Mavs team. But then on the flip side, Luca, this is the best team he's had. Literally, since the team that went to the conference finals, this is literally the best team he's had. And no knock on Bronson, but this is the best team he's had. So there's also that pressure for Luca. But like, yeah, I do see Mavs getting business and standing on business in 6 games max. 6 games.
Yeah, I don't see it going past 6 either. And again, you can chalk it up to a few different things with the Clippers, but I don't think they're going to have enough to get it done. And I think this is one team. I mean, obviously they just kind of structured that team with Harden and everything, but I think we're going to see them restructure possibly, especially if you're losing in round one. I mean, it's time to see what you need to do. So
Yeah,
I
and then Paul
think
George will
that's
be a free agent this season.
yeah. I
After
well,
this season too. So
I don't see him staying either way, but
I
you
mean,
never know.
I saw something about Sixers, coming to like talk to him and stuff like that. So it
Man, that
depends.
would
We'll
be
see.
scary. Yeah, that would be really scary. That would be something else. Seeing him go back to the East would be kind of cool, honestly. So time will tell. Speaking of the East, moving over to the East, we've got Bucks versus Pacers. We already kind of got into this, but here's the thing: like we already said, if Giannis is out for at least the first game or two, that's all the Pacers need to get a lead up on the Bucks. And the Bucks have not shown us that they are going to stack up well against a team as dangerous, especially offensively aggressive and just aggressive on both sides of the ball as the Pacers. So I will say this. I do still think because I think Giannis will come back for maybe the last few games potentially. I have this being a 6 game series potentially, but I have the Pacers winning it. I have the Pacers easily winning the first two, and then maybe the Bucks pick up one. I have it kind of going back and forth from there, but I've got the Pacers winning in 6 games at the most. I'm capping it at 6 for the sole purpose that I guess two. One, Giannis being out, but you can look beyond Giannis being out at how they finished their regular season and still look at them as a team that's not going to be ready to go. So definitely got the Pacers winning in 6 at the most.
Yeah. I mean, I did say this earlier. Like, it's the real possibility. Obviously, you think if Giannis comes back game 2. Okay, no, actually, that should not happen. If Giannis, I was gonna say if Giannis comes back game 2, then they have a chance. But like, no one knows how fit Giannis would be at that point in time, right? So to 100%, if the Pacers knock out the Bucks, it won't be surprising. You might go to games if Giannis comes back mid series and goes to game 7. Maybe they have a chance. I only see them having a chance if Giannis comes back and he goes to game 7. But if Giannis doesn't come back at game 3, by game 3, if he doesn't come back, the series will probably be at what 3-2-1 there at that point to Indiana, and I don't see Indiana letting that go. So the only way I see this winning is if Giannis comes back mid series and then he takes the game to game 7. That's the only way, like Steph Curry did it. That's the only way I see them winning this series. And I do see that shade of like Warriors, Kings in this series, because this is like the Pacers' first time in the playoffs in like a while, and then obviously you have the Bucks, So I do see that shade of the Kings, Warriors in this type of series, and I feel like the only way they win this series is if they take it to game 7, where one and done game, and then the stars come out to play. Dame comes out, Bodies comes out, Brook Lopez comes out, and then Giannis tops it off and drops 40 too, type of thing. So yeah, but if it doesn't, yeah, the Pacers are winning.
For
Sorry.
sure. No, I'm with you. And I will say, if it's a game 7 and you've got all everyone's ready to play for Milwaukee, then I'll shift my take too, because that is the momentum they need. And then you're at a one and done game. You're not looking at more like it's one and done. That's it. And I think they could go from there. So I'm with you. Unfortunately, though, for Bucks fans, I don't see that happening just because of every factor currently. But you never know, because Giannis is that dude at the end of the day, and he is. I mean, that's why he's on. That's why he's the leader. I mean, he's everything to that team. So him coming back could definitely shift the series potentially. So Time will tell. Moving on to our last set matchup, it is the Cavs versus the Magic. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I got the Cavs winning in 5.
That's a tough one. No cap though. Like credit to Magic. Magic have been
Oh, yeah,
amazing this season. Credit to
absolutely.
Magic. That's a tough one. Cavs. They look shaky their last few games. That's
True.
what's having me up and over. Magic did go through a rough patch in the middle of the season, but like now they did end the season on a high. I think I can't remember what the win streak was for them. But that's it. I think that's actually when I look at the series, like all the matchups and potential matchups, I feel like that's probably the toughest matchup, like in terms of who to win the series. Um, to be honest, I would actually want the Magic to win. To be honest, like don't get me wrong, it's because okay, no, actually, I want the Cavs to win because it'd be a harder matchup for Celtics. It would be a harder matchup for the Celtics, but it'd be nice to see like the Magic go on like this Cinderella run and X the Cavs and to be a It to be a good confidence builder for like next season and how to plan around Polo Banquero and the others up or the cats up in there. So to be a tough one, but factually, I do agree with you. The Cavs might end up winning it, but it'd be nice to see the Magic having taken that series to like Game 7. If it goes to Game 7, that would be crazy. Like,
I would like that. I do think a series would be fun to see against those two teams. But time will tell. I mean, I think round one is shaping up to be one of the best round ones we've seen in a little while, minus maybe a couple of game series that are, kind of separated by a lot. Most series I think are going to go to 6 or 7 games possibly. So I think we could but we'll see a couple 5 game series. I hope we don't see any sweeps. We might see any sweeps. I don't think we will see any sweeps though.
I
I
hope not though. I
I
mean,
want at
I
least
mean,
each team get one win.
the
Each team.
Lakers, the Lakers, Nuggets sweep. That was an interesting sweep because
Oh,
the
that was
games
tough.
were close. But like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't see a
every
sweep. I
game.
don't see Celtics sweeping what they call their name, sweeping whoever they play, either Magic or the Cavs.
Yeah,
You
no.
know, I'm blowing them out by 50 or whatever. So
You want to see a series all the way
I
through.
want to see
That's
a series
yeah,
exactly.
totally,
And I
bro.
do
That's
feel
the way
I
it's
do feel
exciting.
like this playoffs would be so interesting. Like
Yeah,
this is probably the most interesting playoffs we have had in a minute. You
agreed.
know.
No, I think
So
it's shaping up to be one of the best, and obviously we'll keep covering it as it goes. Last couple topics of our show. Moving on, talking about a player that just announced his retirement in Blake Griffin. And since he announced his retirement, there has been a lot of buzz over social media over the question: will Blake Griffin be a Hall of Famer in the future? David, my question to you is: Blake Griffin, is he a Hall of Famer or just a really solid player?
does he have a ring?
He does not. He almost got one, but he does not. He's been close several times.
The one thing I remember um Blake Griffin for is the dunk
Hmm.
contest, to be
Oh yeah,
honest. I do remember he was a solid defender, solid also wing. I, he was a wing, right? What was he? He was a four, right? I can't remember what he was. Was a four. Um, Hall of Fame? Nah, that's a stretch. That's a stretch.
I'm with you.
When we're talking about players without rings in the Hall of Fame, you're talking about players like Chris Paul, talking about players like Carmelo. Those are
Allen
the guys that
Iverson.
exactly. Those are the guys you look to that Hall of Fame, no rings. You know, I can't put Blake Griffin in that category. As much as he was nice with the game. The game was also nice. Although the game wasn't nice to him, but he was nice to the game. Did the things the right way. Um, he's just not on level with like Chris Paul. That's those guys that could be in the Hall of Fame without a ring. So that's a crazy ass question. When I said, I was like, how did you even come up with this question? Like, no way, this dude isn't like, you know.
Oh
But
yeah,
it's
no.
sad though. It's sad though that he injury kind of derailed his season a bit. But
Well, and what I will say is he's been on several. He was on a Nets team. I mean, he's been on a couple of different teams that have made little pushes, but by the time he was on those teams, he was not the same player that he once was. Actually, one of his best seasons was with the Pistons. He averaged like 24 points a game and had one of his best seasons from shooting wise and like had a really solid year. And then after that, injuries crept up. what I will say is there are players like Amanu Ginobili that has a ring that maybe is not thought of as like the top of his team, but he has a ring. That's it. Ginobili has a ring. A couple of other there's a couple of the Pistons players from that last championship team that are in the Hoff, but it's because they have a championship ring. When you have that ring, that kind of gets you a little extra boost. And Blake Griffin is a multi-time All-Star. I believe he was Rookie of the Year. A couple different accolades that with a ring would probably get him in the Hall of Fame. Plus the highlight dunks, plus what he did with the Clippers. But it's like you're missing that ring. And if you are a ringless Hoff, you have to be like an Allen Iverson or a Chris Paul. Like that's a great. Too many people get in the Hall of Fame. I think it was Keen Cal said that in the comments, and I fully agree. I think there's way too many people that get into the Hall of Fame for NBA. So if they somehow let him in, I will be shocked. And I mean, it's not going to be. I won't be mad. It'll be fine. But like, it would be pretty
To
shocking
be
to see.
weird. Yeah, to be weird.
Yeah, I would be surprised, and then that would definitely power that idea that anyone can get into the Hoff, because if he's getting in there, it's like, he's definitely a solid player, but I would just say he's above average NBA player with some highlight moments and some successful seasons. That's how I would chalk it up to. But still, shout out to Blake Griffin. Congratulations on an exciting career. I mean, some of the best dunks in NBA history, without a doubt. So some insane Lob City was very real for a few years.
Yeah.
Shout out to that. But moving on,
Even
our
my
final
2K player will
segment.
get into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, well,
Even
see,
my 2K, my 2K player will get Hall of Fame.
for real. No, seriously, anyone can. Hey, I might have to try that out too. For real, he gets in the Hall of really good but not great. I agree. There's a lot of players that should be in that Hall. Moving on, last segment of the show, a little bit different than what we usually do. Usually we do a little top of the hour 5. Because of the list, I'd made it 10 because it was too hard to pick 5. So this list is the top 10 NBA players of the 2023-24 regular season. This is all positions. This is just who we think the best of the best are. And it's like extremely tough to make that list, but we did
You have
it.
to have played. You have to have played 65 games. That's the cutoff mark. Because I saw a list and I'm like looking at it and I'm like, most of the guys didn't play up to 65 games in the season. Why we have to put it on mark 65 games. They have to play 65 games in the season. So you might want to revisit that list of yours.
No, I'm talking about who's the best of the best. I don't care about how many games they played. I think it's pretty odd, when you look at the stats, bro. I mean, but I will say yes, yeah. I think there's only one player on my list that did not play that many games, but he is my number one. So, anyways, but we'll get into that. We'll see what you guys think. I'm sure you'll agree, but maybe not. Who knows? Moving in to that list, starting at number 10. Who do you got, David?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Give me a minute.
You're good, bro.
Uh, ooh, number 10. Ooh, because can we start from number one? I'm just
Yeah, let's
curious.
do it. Sure. Number one, let's do it. Who do we got at number one?
Actually, no, number 10. Give me Anthony Davis. Yes, give me Anthony Davis, number 10. Having an all NBA season, all defense season to first team all defense season. Um, to cap it all off, Lakers win the chip. That will cap off an amazing season for him. Played more than 65 games this year. Made some people lose their bets, saying that he won't play more than 65 games this season. So yeah, give me AD for number 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
give me
that's a
AD
good
for
pick.
number 10.
We share the same number 10. I had 80 at my 10 for the same exact reasons. I couldn't put him up any higher on this list just because of who else is above him, but I definitely had him on this list because of his consistency this season. This is definitely his best season since we won our last chip. So if that's any indication of what's to come potentially, I just think that's it's something to look at. So both offensively and I mean he's having a career year for rebounds. I mean, dude is putting up numbers, putting the work in, and the consistency and just seeing him on the floor and not actually on the floor holding his leg or holding his whatever, that's really nice. So that's my number 10 as well. Who do you got at number 9?
Give me number 9. This was a tough one because I have. Let me make some things in my head. Okay. Okay. Mm. Oh wow. Okay. Okay. I hope I don't regret this, but give me De'Aaron Fox.
Wow. Okay.
number 10, number 9, give me De'Aaron Fox. You know, I feel he's also had one of those amazing seasons, even though the Kings kind of side out a little bit, kind of pan because for a minute they were in 6 seed, but then he kind of panned out. But yeah, give me De'Aaron Fox because I just feel like he's been consistent.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I think
No, I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine. I'm fine.
my number 9 has to be Jalen Brunson. One
That's
of
not
the
fair.
one of the
He
like
should be higher. He
you
should
think
be
so?
higher. Yes.
I here's the thing. I definitely he's been one of the key parts of the Knicks' success this season. That's why he's on this list. But I just got some other people's a little higher. I got some other people up a little higher than him just for the sole purpose of who they are and what they did for their season. But Jalen Brunson, one of the, the leader of that Knicks team, has brought them back to relevance and is already getting on people's top like 10, 15 all-time Knicks list already because of what he's doing in the short time he's been there. So definitely not the same player he was when he was in Dallas. He was still a solid player in Dallas, but he has grown and evolved and flourished, and he is having a career year. And I think the Knicks could really have a strong showing going forward with him. I obviously don't have that being this season, but I think that he'll be around in New York for quite some time. So give me Jalen Brunson at 9. But I will say, yeah, some people might be saying it's a little low on the list, little too low. Moving into our number 8, what do we got?
Oh my god. I made a mistake. Made a big mistake.
It's okay.
I made a big mistake. I have to remove De'Aaron Fox from that list. Just
Fair enough.
cause
That's okay.
he's an honorable shout out. And I'll replace him with Steph. Steph is my number 9.
Okay.
Steph is
Fair.
my number 9. Um with that being said, I don't think I should say too much about that. My number 8 is LeBron. LeBron has had a season more than any other. He's played more games in the past, more than his past 2 seasons, averaging 25, 8, and 7, or 25, 6, and 8, something like that in terms of rebounds and assists and points. Career high in terms of 3-point shooting. He's the only reason him and AD are the only reason why the Lakers have a chance. Because if you leave those little boys out there without those men, they probably won't be anywhere near the play. So I have LeBron at 9.
That's
Oh,
a
and
good.
then when we talk about at 8, when we talk about Steph at 9, it's just because look at it because of where the Warriors are at. You would have been higher if the Warriors were higher because he's the only reason the Warriors are where they are right now. If not for Steph, not no, I'm not sure where the Warriors would have been. So yeah, give me LeBron at 8, Steph
Yeah,
at
no,
9.
that's a good pick. My number 8 is Steph Curry. I mean, the leader in 3-pointers this season in the league. The Warriors did not reflect his success from 3, and some of his numbers did drop down a tiny bit, but still, I mean, dude can shoot from anywhere, and he is one of the best players in the league, and you can never be sure when he's going to go off for like 40 or 50 points. Like he will just randomly drop points and go off on your team, and maybe that happens against the Kings even if they lose. So give me number 8 is Steph Curry. What about number 7?
Number 7 has to be Jalen Brunson. This is why I say he has to be higher. Where you look at what he's done for the Knicks, he's obviously he's not the main reason, but like he is the major reason. There are other factors, yeah, Josh Hart, DiVincenzo, Anunoby, all that stuff. But Brunson has been the reason. Like he's just brought a different vibe to New York. Like when New York were they were the joke of New York. Even the NBA of the Big Apple, they were joke, but he's just brought some seriousness. Like he's the reason why people talk about the Knicks more than they usually do, you know. And he's been on a tear lately too. Also having season of like obviously he made All Star this year, I think, right? He made All Star. Yeah, he did make All Star. He's probably going to make All NBA either second team or third team because I don't see him making the first team. So yeah, put him in there as the number 7.
Oh yeah, no, that's a good pick. So here's what I'm gonna say. I saw a comment about me being a homer if I put LeBron over Curry. The Lakers finished higher than the Warriors in the regular season, and LeBron doing what he did, you're not gonna see Curry do that when he's in year. I mean, you're not going to see that. I mean, there's no way. LeBron and what he has done this season has been ridiculous because there's been a lot of conversations the last few seasons about him being out with his ankle. This he played so much of the season. This is one of the seasons where we've seen LeBron the most consistently. So plus having a career year from three. I mean, I remember wincing every time dude would shoot three last year. Now I want him to shoot three. I want him to pull up for two back-to-back shots because I'm confident he's going to make it. He's definitely been working on that shot. And that's a player that's been in the league for so long. And he's still working and getting better at something. That's scary. That should just show you that dude's not done yet if he's improving a skill of his in year 21. So I don't want to sound like a homer too much, but I definitely have him as my number 7. Also, the impact he's had, David, you couldn't have said it any better. The impact both him and AD have had for that team. Without those two dudes, they're nothing. And it's not like they don't have solid players, but those are just the guys that have helped build this team. And that's who this team is built around. And LeBron, of all, I mean, he is going to be. I honestly think LeBron is going to be able to average 20 points a game until he retires if he wants to. Even if it's right at 20, I think he could solidly still be at least at 20 points a game when it's all said and done because dude is just not slowing down. So that's my number 7, and he's my number 7 because of the Lakers outcome and also just because dude is not slowing down. So he's my number 7. We're getting to the best of the best, though. Who do you got at number 6?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, 6. Oh, yeah. David. I have David as number 6. No, I'm messing around, right? But I have Joel at number 6.
Oh,
And
come on.
the only reason why I have Joel as number 6 is just because of the amount of games he missed. And I know it's not his fault.
No,
When he
it's
was on the court, he was really influential and he put up the numbers. But the guys above him went through the whole season, and you could see how they carried their teams to where they needed to. And again, it's not his fault he got injured. But that's just the only reason why I can't put him higher than he is right now, just because of he got injured, and the other guys literally almost played the full season. So
true. Fair.
yeah,
That's a good point.
Joel, number 6, yeah.
No, I mean that is a good point. Joel's on my list as well, but you will not see him at my number 6 spot. But my number 6 got to be Jason Tatum. It's got to be him. I mean, dude has been that dude for the Celtics for so long, but now we're seeing it kind of. Yes, he's still being able to put up big numbers, but there's more sharing the wealth going on. Like there's more confidence, I feel like, in that team as a whole. You're looking at a Celtics team that any player that touches the ball is confident they can make it on that starting 5. Honestly, all 5 of those dudes are ready to play every single game. So my number 6 has to be Jason Tatum. He's been that guy for the Celtics, but I just think he's been that even more this year. So it's got to be my number 6. Moving to the top 5. This is the best of the best. Who do you got sitting at 5, bro?
I have Giannis at number 5. Because I feel like without Giannis, the Bucks would have been nowhere near where they are. Yeah, he has missed a couple of games. I don't know. I think he made it past the 65 mark. But without him, let's not. And I think he's the only player right now, first player shooting, 30, averaging 30 points a game on 60% from the field, and crazy. I saw some crazy ass stats, which was crazy. You know, Also in rebounds and assists, So yeah, Giannis as my number 5. I don't need to say too much.
That's a good pick. My number 5 is SGA, one of the best guards in the league this year. I had to put him there, man. I mean, here's the thing. Definitely one of the best guards this year, but I mean, yeah, he's definitely a lot of improvement from last year to this year. I would venture to call him the leader of the Thunder. I would venture to call him a lot of things, but I would not put him higher than 5 on my list. But still, he's broken into the top 5 as a really young player that very well could be in the top 3 by next season and could win himself an MVP next season too. So SGA number 5. I can see that you don't agree with that take, and that's okay because you definitely don't agree with my number 1 either. So it's all right. 8 out of 10 isn't too bad. We're on the same page for the most part, at least a little bit. We're kind of in the same realm.
Oh my god.
Is SGA in your top 3?
That was a conversation when we get there. We'll
Okay,
know when we
that's
get
fair.
there.
We're getting closer. Number 4. Who do you got?
Jason Tatum, best player on the best team by a mile. And I'm not going to say too much. he's going to Paris this summer. Joining the Olympic team. Obviously, he's having what you like. All he has to do this time is not disappear during the playoffs. Just carry Celtics to the chip. That's all. And his legacy is kind of he already have a better legacy than some players. Best player on the best team. He can shoot the ball, can dribble, having what shooting what 20, averaging 20 what 28, 29 points a game, something like that. I can't remember what he's averaging, but like yeah, Jason Tatum, best player on the best team. You know, if he had higher stats, he'd probably be the best player overall. But his stats aren't just there, and he disappeared in a lot of big games. Some of the big games you expected him to show up, he did disappear on some of those games. So, yeah,
No, that's a good pick. My number 4 is Giannis. Like you said, without him, the Bucks are just not that team. And that's how it's been the whole time he's been there. He's been the deciding factor because that's just the kind of player he is. So that's my number 4. Definitely solidly right there. Getting into our top 3. Who do you got at 3?
this was a tough one, and I'm going to say this. Give me SGA.
I thought you were going to say
I think
Luca.
I had Luca there, but I was like, nah. So I had to switch it. I guess I've kind of switched my number two. But SJ, yeah. He's having he's having a season and a half, just dropping. I think he's the leader in like he has like close to 50 plus 30-point games this season as a point guard, like getting the ball in the hole, leading this young OKC team to number one seed for a very young player. That is allow me to say LeBron S because that's what LeBron did in Cleveland, leading them to where they are. So he's doing everything, rebounding, assisting, stealing, led the leagues in steals together with Darren Fox, you know. So he's just a natural leader leading this OKC team. I think he's leading by example. That's his leading style. You can see, you know, when he's going, the rest of the team follows him. Again, up there in the MVP conversation. I think he's a first team All NBA. Let's be frank. Him and Luca are probably the guards for first team All NBA. So yeah,
No, that's a good pick. That's a really solid pick. Definitely one of the best guards in the league. Possibly just right up. I mean, him. It might be him and Luca. Honestly, right now, when you talk about the best guards in the West, it very well could be those two dudes. Kind of set their place apart. My number 3 is Joker. Um, I mean, multi-time MVP. I mean, solid player from top to bottom. But when we look at a big thing that I'm looking at, the dudes above him, both, I mean, scoring wise has been and scoring. It's a scoring league now, so consistently they're averaging more throughout the season. So give me Nuggets now. Obviously, Joker. They've stayed within the top 3 the whole season, and he's a big factor in that. But still, I'm going as him as my third. What about you for number 2?
I'm perplexed. I'm taken aback. Okay, number two, give me Luca. We don't even have to say too much. He's been walking highlight reel this season. Literally doing everything, making circle shots, half court shots, whatever you want to call it. Then him and Kyrie have been on a tear. Again, as I said before, this is the best team he's been on. Probably since the team that went to the Western Conference Finals. Um, Averaging league lead, he led the league in scoring this past season. Um, yeah, there's nothing more I can say. He probably right up there for MVP. Obviously, the person he's competing with is quite tough, but I do understand your case for him being the MVP. And but yeah, give me Luca as my number two.
No,
And
for
he's
sure.
been on
That's
the
a good
tier.
pick. I think this is the first one we've had the same number on. Luke is also my number 2. One of the best players in the league by far. I would say the best guard without a doubt. He's become that, been in that position for sure. Reminds me, I mean, he does it all. He does it all on the court, and it's shown with the Mavs and how they finished the season. So he's my number 2. And now this is who we think the best of the best is.
I can't with you. I'm sorry. I can't with you. Sorry, I can't believe that is your number one. Sorry, I can't believe. Mine is Jokic, and I don't even have to explain anything because everyone knows how on a tier he's been this season. You know, if Jokic is not your number one, if Jokic take Jokic out of that Nuggets team and they're nothing. They're literally not. Even with Mario in team, they are nothing. Because he does everything from defense to offense. He leads everything. The numbers he puts up are ridiculous. Averaging triple double the whole season is crazy. That's all I'll say, and we'll leave
No,
it there.
I think that's fair. Here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna have to. We're running over time a little bit. I'm gonna make my case really fast for my number one because there is a reason he's my number one. My number one is Embiid. 34 points a game, 11 rebounds, 5.6 assists. You said it best. You said it best. The Nuggets are nothing without Joker. The 76ers are nothing without Embiid. Embiid leaves and they fall from a top 4 in the East to people wondering, are they even going to be in the plan? I mean, people knew they were going to be in the plan, but when it really started, people were wondering what was going to happen. Embiid comes back and they haven't lost a game since. That's the Embiid effect. That's the best player in the league coming back and doing that. Now, Joker, that is a very good point of why he's your number one, why he's where he's at. Same exact type of thing. But that's my case for Embiid, is you couldn't have said it any better. That we saw it firsthand. Now, he only played 39 games. You don't think we did? We totally did. How did we not? He comes back and they win like that. Hey, it's okay. It's okay. I get it. Yeah, because Golden State look at where they're at right now. Golden State is nothing with him, kind of. Honestly, when they get bounced today, they'll be nothing. So, anyways, time will tell. But yeah, I've got Embiid for the sole fact that I'm not looking at how many games he played. I'm looking at his impact when he was on the court. That's what I'm looking at. And again, had he played a whole season, I think we'd be looking at a second MVP for him for sure.
This is a debate for another day, just because we're out of time. I could literally sit down here.
No, we'll have to debate about it another show. But I mean, I don't think we're gonna have to do too much debate, because when Embiid hoists the chip, man, I'll be like, I told you guys. No, I'm just kidding. But no, obviously that list is up to your interpretation, and everybody might have a different list depending on who their favorite team is. So that also plays a factor sometimes in people's lists. But
No.
sometimes it does.
No.
I'd love to see Smoke's list. I'm sure Curry would be top 4. That's what I'm saying. Different fans have different personal whatever about team.
Nah, at that point, you're not being a fan. You're being a team supporter. When we talk of being a fan, you should know the truth. Like, we all know Jalen Brunson has been better this season than LeBron or than Steph. That's the truth. Like, that's just what it is. So we know SG has been better than all those guys. We know Luka's better than all those guys. Like, let's call it what it is. Like, yeah, fandom will have LeBron at 1, but like, it is what it is, So
yeah, no. Well, you guys can let us know what top 5 you want to see next. We'll probably not do a top 10 unless it's a special one again. But let us know what top 5 you guys want to see next. But that brings us to the end of another show. Thank you guys as always. This is not the only place you can find us. Where else can we find you, David?
Hi, Mind Football Class Podcast. We're always there. New episode just dropped today, actually. So go check it out. YouTube, Spotify, wherever you get a podcast. Thick of the season, actually. Right in there, 5 games to go. There was a big twist this weekend. So go check it out. More twists to come. We'd love to see you guys there.
Absolutely. Check them out, guys. They've got a great show. Make sure you hit them up with a sub. When it comes to my show, I got a couple different things that I've done off and on. The Connor and Heffernan show, we've got back up and running, but we've not done a show for, I think, a week or 2 now. We will be doing a show within the next few weeks, but I don't have any information on that. But you can find our last 2 episodes of the Connor and Heffernan show on the Connor and Heffernan show YouTube. And then also you can find a TikTok at the Connor and Heffernan show with like daily sports clips. I post a lot of random stuff on there. So if you're into like old clips of anything, go check it out. There's a lot of different things on there. So, but that brings us to the end of another show, and we will talk to you guys next time.